So Etsy just dropped a new title guidance in the seller handbook on Wednesday, and already there is some level of panic going on. But here's the truth: the algorithm did not change. So really quickly, I'm just going to break down exactly what is going on. So here I just have the article pulled up in the seller handbook. I will have this link down below in the description if you want to pull it up and follow along or reference later. So here it gives some information as to why they are doing this, but I think that this is really important, and this is the section here in bold. And it says, today we're sharing updated guidance for what makes a great listing title to help you write clear, buyer-friendly titles that also help you reach relevant buyers in search results. So nowhere here does it say that we've changed the algorithm, we've updated anything. So you're going to need to go through this to make sure that your listings are compliant. It says that we're sharing updated guidance for what makes a great listing title. And essentially they are just reiterating what they've been trying to push for the past few years to make really clear, consistent title formats that make it easy for people to actually read. It does go on to say that they've updated a new tool that is optional that uses your current listing information to then recommend titles, but we'll get into more of that in a moment. I personally do not have this tool yet. If you do have it in your listings, feel free to share hopefully your geographical location so we can try to figure out maybe what part of the world actually has this, because I personally don't, so I don't have any way to actually go into it and test it out yet. So the first part is basically why clear titles matter. And this is just really basic information that we should all be aware of, but it's really simple. Clear, easy to scan titles are what they want Etsy to look like. So they don't want a bunch of keyword stuffed, non-sentence reading type of a format titles to be happening any longer, where it just looks like a bunch of different types of keywords that could be related to your product. They want it to actually be readable. Then it goes on to why you should update your listing titles. So as always, and I think that this is most people's recommendation, if we have a listing that is performing well, meaning it's getting sales, it is ranked, you are supposed to not touch the SEO. This is like rule number one, and I, for one, will not be touching any of the SEO on my performing listings. That's not to say that I'm not going to test several of these different things that they say to change to see if it makes any type of difference. But how I'm going to do that is just make a copy of that performing listing, go ahead and make Etsy's recommended changes, and then perform a test for about 30 days to see if it actually makes a difference, or if it tanks the listing, or if it doesn't rank at all. So next we're on to what actually makes a great listing title. So they want us to clearly state the item for sale. I think that this should be kind of a given. We should definitely be saying what it is that we're selling. So it's a mug, or it's a dress, or it is a digital file for tumblers, or it is a clip art bundle set. So this one, it shouldn't be a surprise. We should be clearly stating what it is that we're actually selling. So next they want you to include the most important traits up front, like your item's color, material, and size. So I disagree with this one because in my experience, for most physical items, people are not typing in the size. This is most commonly for things like a sweatshirt. I am not typing in medium sweatshirt or medium mountain sweatshirt if I'm looking for a sweatshirt with mountains on it. Most of the time, I'm not also typing in the type of material. So I'm not typing in silk sweatshirt or 100% cotton. I don't know if there are different buyers out there than me. Maybe if you are someone who searches that way, maybe you can only wear a type of material. So that might be a reason why, because you're like allergic to different types. I could see that happening. But me personally, as a buyer, I do not do this when I am typing in a Christmas sweatshirt. Now, I kind of see this working on the digital side with the size, just because there are a few different products in the space that I sell in, which is probably most of you watching this channel, like a tumbler wrap. We will type in 20-ounce tumbler wrap, or 40-ounce tumbler wrap, or 16-ounce glass jar. So this is where it kind of does make sense to include that size. But again, I think it will just really depend on the product that you're selling. Again, I fully plan on testing this in my newer print on demand shop as far as the size and the material, and see which performs better. The listing where I wouldn't have included the material and the size versus the way that Etsy wants us to do that. And I will definitely let you all know with an update when the test is finished. So next is streamline for clarity and scannability. Consider using less than 15 words when including the traits that make your item special. So I think this is interesting because obviously they would want it to be green dress or something that describes the dress. And it's going to be very easy to do this in less than 15 words, given that we only get 140 characters in the title anyway. So I think that this one doesn't really make sense because it's usually going to be less than 15 words anyway. So next is only include holiday special occasions and recipient types if they're essential to what the item is. So birthday candle or Halloween costume. Again, I think that this one is kind of a given because I personally would not be putting Halloween costume if it wasn't a Halloween costume. Same in the digital space. If it's not a Halloween digital design, I'm not going to label it as a Halloween digital design. So to me, this one makes sense. Then they say to move subjective words like perfect or beautiful to the description. This one also makes sense because this is, again, subjective. So it's going to be different to everybody what a perfect item is in this category compared to the next person. So I think that this one makes sense and they should be in the description. Next, we have try not to repeat words. Again, this has been taught for a while to not waste the space in our title with repetitive words. Although this is sometimes hard to do depending on what product category you sell in. I know in the digital space, we like to use the words digital download, instant file, design, Tumblr, and it can be a little bit difficult for it to be readable without including the word Tumblr a second time in a different context. So for example, I will often use it like Halloween Tumblr wrap, and then it will be spooky vibe season, 20-ounce skinny Tumblr wrap design. So I do use the word multiple times, but I think that the key is here, it says try not to repeat words. And if they want us to be creating easy to read, scannable types of titles, I think that it's often necessary to sometimes double or repeat the word for it just to make sense for a customer if you're trying to go for this whole thing of it's super readable. Finally, it's don't worry about adding info about price, shipping, or sales. I have never done this by putting on sale or fast shipping or the price. And I don't necessarily see a lot of people who do this, but they obviously have an issue with it or probably wouldn't be on this list. So there is no need to include that type of information. Then they just give you a table for quick reference. The one that I am struggling with here is this column here. So aspirational and gifting keywords and phrases. So they don't want you to use things like gift for him, birthday present, personalized gift. And this one I am really struggling with because it's such a search for people, especially in the print on demand space, to put in things like birthday present for him, like fishing birthday present for him, or personalized gift for fishermen, or custom gift for mom. So this one I'm really struggling with. They say not to do this. However, I will be testing this again in my other print on demand shop, since my main shop is a digital shop, to see if it has any weight or the other ones perform better, meaning they have custom or personalized or something in there. So we will definitely see after this test to see if Etsy's way, if they're going to rank you higher if you have these, or if you don't have this type of aspirational gifting keywords compared to my current ones, which do have them. They then go on to give specific examples. This one obviously is repeating the word dad and t-shirt several times, and they've rewritten it to personalized 100% cotton dad t-shirt, custom kids names SLX. In my opinion, this is a horrible title. I would not include S to XL in there. Personalized, they said not to use the word personalized, and here they are using it. So they kind of went back because it says not to use it up here. Personalized gift, no. It says not to use it. They used it. I guess they didn't use personalized gift. They said personalized. Okay, so that might be the difference. So you can use it personalized, blah, 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 dad t-shirt. So they want you to use it in conjunction with the actual type rather than just the broad personalized gift. That will require a ton of sellers to be changing this if this actually has an impact. So again, I'll do my own testing to see if this actually makes a difference. This example here, wedding engagement daily wear band, why you would not include the words wedding engagement, I'm not sure, because engagement ring and engagement band are a big search and you'd be missing out on that. Maybe they can gather from this title that it could be for an engagement or a wedding. But to me, it makes sense that you would have those words in there because they're terms that people are actually using in search. So as with anything, I wouldn't just take all of this and do exactly what they say. I would run the tests for yourself. So just copy or duplicate your listings, make the changes, and then watch it for 30 days to see if it actually has an impact. Finally, they bring up their new tool, which is going to make it easier and faster to apply this new guidance. So they've created an optional AI-powered tool that suggests updated listings using your current title, first photo, and description. So they already say it's an AI tool, so we know if it's an AI tool, if it's anything that's like out there currently, it's not going to be 100% accurate. So you will have to do some editing. That goes to say, if they are using Etsy data, their own data that they don't provide with any other tool, then maybe it will be better than most since they actually do have the data and the information. But again, I would take it with a grain of salt and do your own editing. Make sure you read it to see that it actually is what the keywords are. They say that you can quickly update one or many listings at the same time. That would be really helpful to do this in bulk, especially if it comes back that you need to do a lot of editing. Then that would be one of the only ways that I see that this would be really beneficial. So again, let me know if any of you do have this tool. I would be very curious to know what geographical location part of the world that you are in to see maybe who has this, because I know I don't have it yet, and the few people that I've spoken to about this don't have it yet either, so it would be really interesting to know. I do want to reiterate that this is not an algorithm change. This is Etsy simply going over what they want the guidelines for titles to be. So, and honestly, most of it has been the same, except for this aspirational and gifting keyword thing, as well as the types of descriptive keywords like the large, the sizing thing. That's a little bit new and in my opinion, not something that should be part of it. But that goes to say we'll just have to do our own testing and see if it actually makes any type of difference. As always, thanks so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.